Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
We got a great one here because the man joining us today, he's a man of God. He's a father. He's a husband. He's an actor, writer, director, speaker, former Division I player who played at the University of Louisville. I ain't gonna trip the fact that he was a Cardinal, but we're gonna touch on that at a different page. But he's a former football player who spent time in the CFL, the AFL, and the European League. He's done some modeling, and of course, just a little bit, he does a little acting on the side. We'd like to welcome to the Hoop Dreams podcast, the one, the only, Mr. TC Stallings. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog.
Arthur Agee, TC, man. Welcome to the show, bruh. How you doing?
Bruh. Man, I'm doing real good. And this is, I'm just gonna cut right to it. For me, I'm a huge fan. Always been a huge fan.
Yeah.
And I can play basketball, but I'm not like, I know hoopers are all over Hoop Dreams. I was on Hoop Dreams for a whole different reason, man. It's y'all's life.
Yeah.
It's y'all's life. So I'm honored to be here with y'all and have this conversation, man. Everything coming full circle. It's crazy.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's crazy to say that, man, because actually that's my first question for you, man. Of course, you saw Hoop Dreams, but what were your thoughts?
Man, I loved it. I listen, they following y'all around, y'all 14. I'm the same age watching it. And it's just like, if anybody is like me who see Hoop Dreams, I ain't trying to speak for everybody, but I think the biggest inspiration is that you guys are doing what we're doing. Like when I saw your hood, I'm the same way. I kind of pretty much, my household was like authors, and my opportunities was like Will's.
Yeah.
That's what was so trippy about it, man. Like I'm sitting here, your lights cut off, my lights cut off. But at the same time, I'm getting these letters.
Yeah.
And I'm stacking these letters. And my mother was so proud because I was the youngest of 6. And everybody was, I only had one sibling that graduated high school. I didn't have the examples. So it's basically to save time. It's the same way that y'all grew up. It's the same thing. And so I'm sitting there living it and I'm watching it. And so when you see how y'all came out and how y'all was achieving in different ways, I'm like, I can do it too. I think that's what everybody get out of it is, dude, I can do it too. And so that for me, man, I absolutely love, and you watch it a million times, because the movie ends, in a couple hours, 3 hours actually. But my life, I'm still 14, bro.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, I'm about to do that. Like when I'm getting up out of here. So dude, it just encourages you because it's not a movie. It's a movie, but it's real life, and you can do what's in the movie. You can achieve. You can make it.
Hey, that's what I always tell people, man. When we ask them that question, they say, man, I get inspiration, or it showed me that I can do it. That the thing about us is that, we'll come from basketball loins, legends of loins. So it was kind of expected that he was going to be able to progress even faster. I mean, the boy was starting as a freshman on varsity. Me, it kind of showed you have to put in the work to even set on the floor with William Gates and that type of play. So those two stories coming together and God putting it on the stage that he did showed every kid in the neighborhood, you can dream what you want to dream. You can see somebody and say, I want to be that, and I'm able to do it. You know why? Because I seen William Gates and Arthur Agee went through it.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm sitting up here, man, I'm in Cleveland. Like I said, everything you went through with your dad, I didn't even have mine in my life, period. Like he wasn't even there at all. And, again, but they would tell you that he would have needed to be super involved for you to make it. The stereotype, if he ain't involved, Arthur's done. Yeah. Right? Same thing with you, Will. When the scene when you went and met your dad for the first time, that was one of the most awkward scenes, man. It was like, there was no connection. It was just like, it was a token meeting that he just kind of just there to be there. when I met my dad for the first time, I was 18 years old.
Wow.
It was the craziest thing, man. I gained my scholarship to Louisville, by the way, after hey, I know y'all saw that in the ACT.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I went through the same thing, man.
We're going to get to that.
And,
Don't
all right, we'll get to that. All right. So I stick with it. I met my dad, right? So when I finally got my scholarship and I met my I was sitting there, I was doing something, I can't remember, but my mother came down and was like, "You want to go meet your dad?" Just out of nowhere. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to meet him." And I hadn't seen him, so I'm nervous, man. I'm going, and we get there, open the door, and he was a lot older than my mother, so I really felt like I was meeting my grandfather. Like I've never seen him. And then he started telling me everything that, things happen, and man, it felt just like when you was talking with your father. It's just what I was sitting here and I was just disappointed. I felt let down. Like it ain't, and then my mind just went to Louisville.
Yeah.
Like I was seeing myself at practice on the field, and I just wanted to get out of there, and that was it. And I left, man. And so I'm just like, him in my life being a guy that was he was really messed up on drugs, just really messed up. It might not have even been as good. It was probably better that he wasn't there than being there messed up, man. People having drive-bys coming through our house and trying to kill him, kill me.
Yeah.
So it was probably better. And that's what people don't be realizing, man. God know what he's doing. And me and my mom was all I needed. And, I had a stepfather that came a little bit later, but yeah, man. So anyway, all these connections is what make it cool, because folks resonate with the movie, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful, that, man. Well, we thank you for being on the Hoop Dreams podcast, but just so you know, TC, it ain't about us. This is about you.
Yeah.
And what Agee and I want to know is, man, we want to get into the origin story of TC, man. Take us back to your childhood. Where did you grow up, and what was the neighborhood like?
I grew up in inner city Cleveland. For those from Cleveland, y'all know the projects, right downtown. And it was just hard. I mean, flat out everything you see stereotypically with the gang violence and the drugs and the fights and the graffiti and the diapers everywhere. And I grew up with all of that, the dirt, just in the mud. But for me, that was normal. I didn't look at it growing up as a problem. That's all I knew. I just thought that's how life is. And so, you growing up that way, and over time, you want to get out like everybody else. So it's the same story. We ain't got a hash. It's just you start to look for a way out. And for most of us, a lot of times it becomes, sports and stuff like that. And so picked up football real quick. And I just remember standing outside Cleveland Municipal Stadium. That's what they used to call it before it became First Energy. And just hear games. And I just hear the noise and hear all the yelling. Could never afford to get in there. And I just told myself, you know what? Forget trying to go watch a game, man. I'm going to go play one in there. And I'm going to change the life of everybody in my family. And that kind of started my road of trying to get things together. And my mother, we were by ourselves up until I was about 10. And she just doing the single mom grind. That's what it reminded me a lot of Arthur's mother, man. Just grinding. My mother dropped out of school, but she went back. I felt like when your mom went and did her thing, and so she went back and got hers. And I grew up. I'm the youngest of 6, so like my siblings kind of just, I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters. And I didn't have that example where it's like, do good in school. It was more so like my example was stay alive. Like, stay alive. And that's the essence of my childhood, man. That hardworking mother that kept kind of trying to get you out of the hood. And we slowly worked our way through inner city Cleveland. And I kind of wrapped up my childhood in Bedford Heights, Ohio. And that created an opportunity for me, man. But it's a stereotypical stuff. But it gave me a chance to live a life that just says it really truly ain't. I know it's cliche, but it ain't how you start, man. It's how you roll and how you finish that thing.
Now, for those who don't know about Cleveland, give us the breakdown, because it's segregated here in Chicago. You got your hood and your inner city over here. You go probably about a mile up, then you got the good area, then you got downtown. How is Cleveland set up? Because one of my friends from Cleveland, he said there's a suburb part 2, but they still part of the city.
Yeah. So like Cleveland, downtown, it's funny. Downtown has actually got a lot going for it. It's it's the external stuff. It's the crime that kind of messed it up. That's a lot of thriving businesses and stuff down there. And then downtown separates East Cleveland. Then you got the west side of Cleveland. You just got to go over the bridge into the west side of Cleveland. But I'm telling you, man, like everywhere you go in Cleveland for, it's gray. It's kind of like dirty. You know what I mean? It looks hard. Like it looked like everywhere you look, everybody's job is we work in construction or factories.
Right.
Like everybody got on a skull cap and big gloves. You know? And it's like, you know, and it's hard, man. But then the further you go kind of upward, you'll start getting into like Warrensville, Bedford, Pepper Pike, and it get a little nicer. But you got people that kind of then got run down a little bit too. Because when I grew up, I went to Warrensville. The school was all black, and I broke my finger, this finger right here, and couldn't finish the last 3 games of the season. I was the leading running back. This is another way I vibe with y'all. When I couldn't play, my grades went bang. Everything went down. And I was already in a white neighborhood going to the black school because we moved to Bedford, which is a little better. I'm going to this, but I didn't want to go to the white school. So I would go and walk the 8 miles, 9 miles to go to Warrensville where my friends were.
Damn.
But then I broke my finger. Yeah, man, I did not want to go to this school. But when I broke my finger and I couldn't play, I didn't want to go to school. So now I was late to school a lot, and I had racked up about 2-3 months of Saturday detention. So the only way out was to leave the school. So I told my mother I'd transfer to Bedford. Bedford's all like mostly white. But that's where I met my what's your Coach Picator?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's why I met my Coach H, changed my life. And so, but yeah, man, I started off in the rough, the dirt, the mud of Cleveland, and my last like 4 or 5 years, it was a little, I would say I went from an F neighborhood to about a C, and finished up in like about a B minus. And my last 2 years was in Bedford, man, and I was able to become a better student and get out of there, man, and go to Louisville.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I went to Bedford because I didn't want to go to detention.
I went to Bedford.
That's crazy, right?
You know, Saturday morning detentions. What?
Well, man, 90 days? 90 days of that, man?
Agee, you had a few of those, didn't you?
Yes, I did, sir.
Yep. Hey, summer school too. I had 2 years of summer school, man, at Warrensville. I just had to get away from my black friends, man. And it wasn't the black. It was just I knew them. These were my people, and I had more fun than learning, and I just wanted to play ball. And when I went where I didn't know nobody, I was just forced to focus on the work. And then I had a coach that was kind of like my dad at that moment. You know, he knew how to. He was like, "Look, man, I'm looking at your grades. You might can play with C's and D's, but you ain't going to no college."
Wow.
And I didn't know though. Nobody told me at home, and I started to figure that stuff out. And so it was a good change, man.
That's real, that though. Man,
so looking at your documentary, man, fabulous, man. The way you tell it.
Thank you.
Everything, how you the lighting, just everything, how you shot it and everything. You know, we still want to stay in your youth age where you even develop the mind to say, I'm falling in love with this football right here. Give us that age. What you, 12, 13, 14? Tell us about that youth football league where you was like, I like this.
Yeah. Well, man, when I was about 9 years old, I'll never forget this. We had, and y'all probably know this all too well, whether your family is united or not, like I didn't have the most united family unless you put your hands on one of us. If you put your hands on one of us and like my sisters make a phone call, for whatever reason, that family reunion is easy.
Right.
Everybody is on the scene to jump on whoever hit one of us or something like that. So some dude made the mistake of hitting my sister, and she called my brothers. You don't call my brothers because they will show up and then they're gonna bring folks. And so I'm like 9 years old, man. actually, I think I was about 7 to get more legit. I'm about 7 years old. I'm little. And I ain't got no babysitter. So when they go fight, I got to go. So everybody jumps in the car and goes. And I mean, it's the street fight. It's even my mama was there, everybody was there, and went up on this house, tell them to come outside, So there's this big, huge family fight, man.
Wow.
And I mean, everybody was on somebody. I mean, it was just the whole everything, man. Just all, blood flying, people getting hit with stuff. And I'm 7 years old, standing out there by myself. And I'm looking around, and I remember my sister was tearing up this girl, but then the girl flipped her over and started getting some in. I looked. And I'm looking, everybody matched up on somebody. And I saw a big, long stick right there. I picked this stick up and I went to go hit the girl that was on top of my sister because I'm like, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm the only one not doing nothing. And my stepfather, who had just come in my life, into the family, he grabbed my arm and took me to the side and said, this ain't for you. This ain't what you do. You really chastised me. And I'm crying because I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to sit there on the curb and watch this go down and watch people bleeding and mothers pleading for their sons because my brothers was putting in work. And I hated it. So at that moment, I developed this really bad hate and I hated what I was seeing. I hated my situation. I like, why did I get put into this family? Like I started to go down that route, and I'm young, man.
Yeah.
So I'm 7, 8, 9 thinking this way, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm going to get married and I'm not getting no divorces because I see what that do to you. Because my father didn't even get a chance to be with my mother. She left him while I was being born. I said, I'm going to stay in there. And I said, I'm going to pray that the Lord bless me with a boy and a girl so that we can break the chain. I need one of each so that we can break the chain. I'm 9 years old talking like this.
Wow.
So I had that in my heart from seeing that stuff. And it's funny, man. Had I succeeded in getting in that fight, I would have probably developed a whole nother idea because my family used to celebrate these wins. And I'd have celebrated too.
Wow.
And then I'd have been ready for the next one. And things would have just been different. But instead, now I want to be different. So now I need something to do.
Yeah.
Well, when I was 12 years old, my brother, and by the way, my brothers are doing great now. Because a lot of time when we interview people say like, man, they done did their time and they out and they doing great. But my brother back then, he had ended up getting into a gun case and the police arrested him out of my house right in front of my face. I woke up watching him get carried off to jail, and I had seen that too many times, and I got mad, and I walked outside, and I was so upset. And I saw one of my friends leaving in a van to go play in the Muni League, the Cleveland Muni League, man, Little League football. And I said, bro, where you going? I had never seen this in my life. We play in the hood. I'm a dog in the hood, but not with the helmet and the pads and everything, and the uniform and the name on the front. And I'm like, the Tigers. I'm like, dude, where are you going? He told me everybody. He said, man, cost $200 to go play. I asked my mother for that. She was just like, man, I ain't got no $200. So I wasn't going to be able to play. His mother paid for me to play. I went out there with no equipment and was killing them. They had pads on and everything. I had nothing. I signed a waiver and was dogging in shorts and sneakers. And at that moment, man, I was hooked.
How old were you at that time?
Man, I was 12 going on 13.
So the coach let you go out there with no pads, with no helmet, but say, sign this hold the harness sheet for me.
But look, Will, look, wait a minute. You missed this. Dude, he outside telling his friend, yo, I want to go with you. He's like, nah, man, it costs $200. Damn, I ain't got that. Yeah. I'm going anyway. He on the boys in the hood. Like what's that?
Yeah,
you ain't got you going to the store, you ain't got no money. I'm going anyway.
I'm going anyway, man.
Went anyway. You ain't got the money. How they gonna let you play? You ain't even showed them you can play. You get there, you show up with him like, well, I want to play too.
Yep. And the coach was like, here, you want to take this helmet and see if it fit? I kept it. I took the helmet. I said, I need something. I need something to show my mama. Because, how if you don't have something to move it forward, you get home with nothing and be like, hey, I want to play on this team. And they say, oh, that's great. That's great. I took the helmet home. I wiped it off. I put it on the table. I just wanted her to be like, what is that? I'm glad you asked. So this team, and I told her everything. And she was like, oh, good. Yeah. I'm sorry. They said I can play. Mama, I signed this little paper. They said I can run around with them. They said don't hit people, but I couldn't help it. Mama, I was hitting them. They was hitting me. I'm fine. But I did wear a helmet. You know, I had the helmet on. I said, but they said I can play. And she said, that is so great. I'm so glad you found something you can do. I said, it's going to be $200. She said, you can take that helmet right back where you got it from.
That's a mama for you. That's a mama for you there, boy.
She said, you take.
Wow.
So, man, I was taking it back. And then dude's mother saw that I was crying. And she said, looks like we're going to have 2 football fees this year. I said, what? She said, go tell your mama I'm gonna pay for it. And this lady went to church with my mother too. So I knew the family. And then man, I took that check up there, man. And that was it, man. And right off the bat, I killed it. I crushed it. And then my mother saw me play for the first time and changed her, because she had to work. And I was playing the first season without her seeing the game. She was just hearing about him. She came to one and was so proud. Like, you should have seen her.
Let me tell you something. See, that's how I know God is real, bro. Because you didn't even know this, but that was God working through your friend's mother.
Yep.
Just think, had that not ever happened to you, oh, ain't no money, can't play. What story would probably be totally different. But
Bruh.
That right there shows me that God is real, bro. He was like, I'm finna work through this woman. She finna bless this boy, and his dream is gonna continue. Yeah. How did you feel after that? Like, I'm finna get ready to play and put on pads and a jersey and a helmet.
I was crying, because you bring up a great point about how God was working through this woman, because what happened literally weeks before that, I said when my brother got took to jail, I was upset, and I got tired of seeing that, because that was my middle brother. My older brother, I watched that happen to him a lot. I done seen my brother get shot, and we had drive-by go through our house, like all this. I'm just tired, and I was angry. Now, I was a really, really, really good kid that wouldn't get in no trouble. I had never been in any trouble in my life. My friends, it was around 4th of July. We had already had 4th of July where you pop firecrackers. You know, you keep leftovers, and for a few days you pop them. My friends that day was going around putting smoke bombs in people's like in our apartments. You go in, and you're in a holding area, and there's like a door here and a door here. You know what I mean? And then you got like the mail slots in each door. Okay. So you can get in, and then they was putting smoke bombs in the hole and running, and it was smoking up people's house. And so I don't try this at home, y'all watch. I never did stuff like that. I was so mad. I wanted to go with him. I went with him, and now we all doing it. And this was the day my brother got arrested. So we all doing it, and I'm doing it. One of the ones we dropped in caught this lady's carpet on fire. And she put it out. It could have been really bad, man. It just caught the corner of carpet on fire. But when I saw that she called the police, I ran home. I had on red and black, and I put on, my brother had these Boston Celtics shorts and stuff. I put on all green, bro. I put them Boston Celtics shorts on, and a green shirt came out like I hadn't done nothing. And my dudes got pressured by that lady. And they told him that I was the one that dropped the one in her house. They were scared too. And bro, for the first time in my life, I went to jail. But the lady told him, I found out later, this is way later in life, I found out that lady told them that she didn't want me arrested, didn't want none of my records. She just wanted them to scare me. And that worked. They took me through the whole process. And then when my aunt came and picked me up, they told me that you don't want to be here, blah, 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 blah. But later on, I found out that the lady just wanted to scare me. I say all that to say, look where I was headed, bro. I grew up around this. When you frustrated, you starting to lash out. Man, I'm doing stuff I'd never done before. Now I'm throwing smoke bombs, and I'm doing things with that. I just would have went down. But a few weeks later, I see the whole football thing happen, man, and I found my way. And I loved it so much that I was reminded that you can't do that in jail, bro. If you go to jail, you can't play. Yep. And I hated jail, that little moment. I was like, I ain't never coming back here in my life. You won't see me. And then with the football, I'm just like, oh, that's a wrap. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I wrote my goals down on my wall. And I was like, that's it. And I achieved every goal. I still got the jersey, my high school jersey. It's downstairs in my garage. And I wrote all my goals on one side. To get out of the hood, to go to college, to get to the NFL, to change my mama's life. All on my jersey.
Wow.
And I wrote those goals down. And that was it. That's when I started doing it, man. So you bring that up, man. It like I said, I didn't have an opportunity to succeed at doing the wrong thing.
How good was how good was y'all football team when you and your boy was playing on it?
Oh, there was one team used to beat us. There was this area, they had Power 5, Power 6, all of that or whatever. Power 6 was these big, that was the biggest team. That's the only one we couldn't beat. Everybody else, it was a wrap. But Power, I can't remember if it was Power 5, Power 6. All I know, they was big, they was white, and they hit hard, and they ran the ball every play. And that was we couldn't do nothing.
Right.
And you honestly go into this game knowing you're gonna lose. But I said, I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna say they're gonna feel number 20.
Wow.
I was a huge Barry Sanders fan, and that was the first and only football jersey I ever owned. My best friend growing up bought me a Barry Sanders jersey. I was in the hood, so obviously that got stole. But yeah, I wore number 20. Man, I was a dog. I was a dog. I was unstoppable. Every level I ever played on, it was a wrap. And that's how I was built for it. I was built to do it. It didn't matter what level.
Damn.
I was a dog. And got the highlights to prove it. You know how people always be like, you ain't done. I said, please, man, every level. I pull out my little league. They couldn't hold me. In little league, all it is run, toss right, and be faster than everybody else. And every level you go up, they get a little faster. And they always tell you ain't gonna do it on the next level. I said, man, listen, it was football at age 12. It's football at 16. It's football at 20. It's football at whatever level, it's still football.
So wasn't the high schools jockeying for you to come to their high school? Will.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if Will was being courted by different high schools in the area. I just knew St. Joe's came in and just swooped the man up real quick and smooth, and he was out of there.
Yeah, it would happen. But see, I was like you, bro, like no grades. For me, it was always a grade thing. And I'm not the type of person I am now where I just know how to I can get with anybody. I just wanted to stay around black people. That's what, remember when you was in a documentary, he was like, I
ain't just used to being around a lot of white people.
The funny part was this dude said, man, I just saw, clean air and flowers. You in the hood, man, when you can't even see flowers.
Like, what?
I'm like,
that's real grass.
I was the same way.
They got green grass. I thought it was just
green grass. And clean air and flowers, but that's how it was. I was uncomfortable. And so I didn't, Menor High School, Villa Angela St. Joe's, that's the one. That was our St. Joseph. You go to St. Joe's, even the school LeBron went to.
My teammate came out of
Akron
there.
St. V. Out of St. Joe's?
Yeah, he played football there too.
Yeah, man. Villa Angela St. Joe, they was the dogs. They was the ones where if you did go out of the hood, go to St. Joe's, But man, I just didn't, man, look. They say you need to pass your class to play football.
Yep.
As far as I was concerned, once I got over 59, I passed.
I ain't doing
it. And I could put all my other efforts into running and training. And I didn't want to be sitting there trying to get an A when a C could get me the same thing you got. And see, that's just nobody teaching you that your best gets you further than just enough. And I just hadn't got that yet. I just want to get to the field as quick as possible. So if studying is going to have me in the lab, in the library an hour longer, but once I know, like I said, if it's 10 answers I need and 6 or 7 of them, I might know the rest of them. But once I got that 7th answer, I'm turning my paper in. I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not about to do the rest of these problems. I'm gone. And so that's how it was like for me, man. But I didn't have the grades to go anywhere. Fact of the matter, man, I wanted to go to Penn State. Growing up, that's where I wanted to go. I had this, you know how back in the hood, man, if you ever got something nice, this is why I vibe with some of y'all stuff, man. Like when y'all was like getting the good gear from, like people in the hood will hook you up with money and you can go get the good gear. Man, now I knew them, but I wouldn't get that deep into it. But my mother is a type that she could always get you that one good Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
And she got me a blue and white long Nike starter jacket that looked just like the Penn State's jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put that jacket on and my ball and make these long runs. And I was a big Kajana Carter fan at the time too.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to Penn State. But man, when you find out you got to get A+, like the grades and stuff like that, I was like, man, I ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? And so it was always a grades thing for me. So yeah, they'll come for you, but I never had the grades to get there. But I was like, that's cool. I'll tear it up in the hood. It ain't about where you go, it's where you at.
And that's how you thought all the way, like, even while you just big running back star in Cleveland, your education, you didn't put too much on that. You was like, I'm gonna just do enough just to get by and graduate. But you didn't know that was gonna scare off all the big schools that was coming after you.
Man, my mother, that's exactly what happened. My mother, nobody in my family ever went to college. Nobody knew nothing about it. We ain't know how to prepare. Nobody knew nothing about ACT prep. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know you had to take that test.
Right.
I just knew don't get no F's. Don't get no D's. Like my coach said, you've been getting D's and C's and all of that. Where here you get anything less than a C, I'm not gonna let you on the field. And if you don't start getting even more than that, you're not gonna be able to go to college. And I was like, okay. So I was making sure I didn't get less than a C. And so my grades actually was looking great. Now there was always that one class you do good in that or whatever. But I'm like, I'm a ball out and I'm gonna get out of here. So I'm playing. And then Louisville was a school I had never heard of in my life. But I showed up knew Syracuse, and that was my first recruitment letter, came from Syracuse, and I took a visit to Syracuse. And they telling me, oh, I'm getting hyped, first visit. And then I got Maryland, and then I got Navy, and then I got Army, then I got USC, then I got Ohio State, they coming in. And my mother, who had never seen nothing like this, went and bought a scrapbook and started saving them. Every last one of them, man. That book got this thick. There was 57 schools at one point. And I'm like, this is insane. And everybody getting all hyped. My coach would come to me after every practice and give me like 5 or 6 letters with a rubber band around. Like, here you go. And I'm getting hyped. And so we get to the end of it, and we looking at what schools are going to go to. And they say, you got to take this test. What test? You got to get ACT test. And then I'm saying, okay, well, all right. And then they say, well, you need an 18. I didn't even know what that meant. That sounded low. You see how dumb I am? Yeah, I'm like, okay, I go and take this test and I took the test and got a 15. They turned in a 15 and all of that stuff dropped off. I wasn't getting courted by nobody. I started getting courted by junior colleges. Like, Potomac Junior College, I believe in West Virginia, came first and said, they was telling me the same stuff that like what you was hearing. And I was like, no, I was like, I need all 4 years, man. I need all 4 years. I need to start as a freshman. And so I had this plan in my head. So anyway, it wrapped up like this. They all fell off. I took the test 3 more times, couldn't pass it. And Louisville was the only school that hung in there and said, listen, and this reminded me of your situation where the coach was telling you, like, listen, we want you no matter what happened. Louisville told me that. So I had already made up my mind. I said, I'm going to pass this little stupid test. But when they all come back, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to Louisville. I'm going to pass this test. And I had to combine all my scores to get to go. Here's a funny part.
When did you find that out, though, that you was able to take it some more times for them to compile it?
After the second failure. Because I took it the second time and Louisville called me back.
What score did you get the second time?
16.
Wow.
So I went 15, 16. Yeah, I ain't go backwards like man, listen, knowing I went through that the way he did, when he went 15, 14. I was like, oh man, you going the wrong way, Will. So I was like, at least I went up one. So they said, he said, listen, we're running out of time. If we can't get you in here by January of next year. And they said, listen, we talked to the clearinghouse. You can take this in sections. So listen, don't stress out. Go focus on the math. Then go focus on the reading. Then go focus on and all of that. Now listen, you will not believe this, but I promise you it is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I went and did that, and I'm passing them all section by section, so it's going great. The last section I had to do was the reading section. Man, when I was doing the third section, they say don't only worry about on one thing. So I had the reading left, and I ain't worried about, but for fun, I did what that teacher told you to do in the film. She was like, it's more likely to be B's and C's than if you pick A's and D's. So for fun, I did BC, 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 just for fun on the reading part. Right. Bro, I got a 21 on the reading part.
Damn.
So I didn't even have to go back the fourth time to do the reading part because I had that 21. Now, for everybody who like, you got lucky, look, man, the reason we say the reading for last, it's the easiest. I'd have probably got a 21 on that anyway. Right. But that saved me about 2 or 3 months of working on crap. But I did B's and C's just because the movie said to do it for fun. Mm-hmm. And bro, I got it. So anyway, I didn't know that though. I just did that for fun. My offensive coordinator called me back and he said, TC, we got your test scores. And he was talking like this. He said, we got your test score. And he said, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you're going to be getting up here a little early because you got the score you needed. That's how he set me up. Man,
wow.
I went outside. We had a community pool outside. I went outside to that little community pool, man, and just went down and just cried, man. I just cried because they gave me a composite of 18. And I signed my scholarship, man. I signed my scholarship, dude. And remember, this is the second time I had signed it because I signed it in the school in front of everybody. And then it got taken away from me when I failed the test. And I felt like a failure. So I went through all of that, man. And
wow.
And that's when my mother said, do you want to go see your father? Did that whole fiasco. That was a letdown for me, man. 2 days later, I'm off to Louisville, man. Packed a big caravan up with everything, and I'm out. And bro, when y'all was crying with y'all's moms,
same thing.
I still get it. Cause see, my mom gone. You know, I lost my mother. I still get it. Cause I watched it with my kids. My kids are young. They didn't know. And when I told them I was doing a podcast, I said, y'all need to watch this because y'all gonna learn a lot. Life is different for y'all right now. I want y'all to see what it's like to come up in the mud. And we watched it, man, and I cried again when y'all left with y'all's mom.
Yeah.
Cause she was proud, man.
Yeah. Hey, I know the confidence of like you said, you know, from what you've been through in your family up to this point. You know, I know you was like, man, I want to do this. I'm gonna get out. And when you packed up that van going out, I know you had so much confidence and belief in yourself was like, damn, my dream is coming true. Like, I did it. I'm finna get away from this place.
Bruh, I knew nobody would ever be able to get me there. And when we was leaving, and I'm sitting up here flipping through the media guide, and I was sitting there looking, I'm like, who the running backs there? And I circled the starter, said, coming for you. And man, this is...
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. And I told, I wrote my mother a letter and I told her, I said, this is it. This is where it starts. I said, I ain't coming back until I got something for you. And I just remember a 6-hour drive to Louisville, man. And I just kept imagining myself turning up, but I could not believe I was going. I could not believe I was going. And I was the first male to graduate high school in my family.
In your family. Wow.
But I was the first person, period, to go to college. And it's just, I'm like, the chain is broken.
Was your family surprised, or did they kind of know that when you put your mind to something, oh, he keep telling us he done wrote these goals down. He's gonna do it. Was they surprised or they was like, we knew you was gonna do it, son?
They knew from sixth grade on out. Once I started running around with that ball, and I wouldn't let anything else get in the way of it, and that's all I cared about. And just again, they come into these games now on every level. It's funny, man. I tell this story when my brother ended up getting released from prison, and I didn't know it, and my mother surprised him and brought him to my game.
Oh wow!
I was out there warming up. I was a sophomore. I was warming up. We were warming up, and I looked. And what's funny is I had asked my mother, because she wasn't coming to my high school games because her job had changed again. She went to my little league games, but now she ain't seen me play none of my freshman year. She ain't seen none of those games, and that was hard for me because I was used to her coming. My sophomore year, it was an opening game, and I begged her to come. I said, find a way, and then she said, I doubt it. I got to work and all that, whatever. She said, but I see maybe if I can get off early, so whatever. We get out there, man, and we warming up, and I saw it start thundering and lightning and rain. She already, it was hard. I know she ain't gonna come out here in this. So I was sad, man. And then I go out there, and you know how you warm up and everything, and then you go back in as a team. I took that one last look, still didn't see her. I was hoping for one of them movie moments. I forget. So we go in and we come out, and we broke the huddle. We go, and I'm a kick returner. I looked again. Not only did I see her, but I saw my brother. My oldest brother had got released from jail.
Wow.
And they'll tell you, all documented. Like I said, I love having stuff documented because it seemed too good to be true. They kicked the kickoff. I took it back for a touchdown. And I ended up with 3 touchdowns that game. But I took the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Man, I saw my mama and my brother. And it's just stuff like that, man, where they knew when you come out, because up until that point, I'm always seeing all these other folks, dads with their kids got the orange slices and you do tying your shoe up for them. And I was always by myself. I used to walk home 8 miles ago.
Right.
I ain't got nobody come pick me up, man. And so, bruh, when we support him, so my mother changed her schedule that week. And from that day on, she never missed a game.
Wow.
You see that?
She never missed a game.
That's where you get your acting skills from your mama. Look how she acted that out.
Oh, she played.
She played. she played. You see where you get your acting skills from? Mama played it all the way to the T, baby.
She did. She played me. Yeah, for sure. It was beautiful, and she never missed a game, man. She come to Louisville, man. The big moment you see in the documentary, man. She was there for that. In the rain, it was pouring out when she was there. And so it's just, she followed me over to Bedford, came to every game, and man, I had to see her out there, and so they knew it was going down, but this whole college thing was new for everybody, and but I'll never forget when they drove me up there, and when they drove off, it did hit me that I was on my own now. It was a really weird feeling to see them drive off, and I was standing there, and then know nobody, and I was like, okay, here we go. Got 4 years to get it done, bro.
I want to ask you, TC, now you on this Louisville campus, because I want to jump into your college years, man. You at Louisville. You already knew the backstory of your life. Did you feel, and I know Agee and I, we felt it, did you feel that any kind of like pressure that you had to do this, that you here now, and you know everybody back at home, man, that's my baby boy. That's my little brother. You know, that's the neighborhood. Like, we got one of our own out there. If you felt that kind of pressure, how did you deal with it?
It was exciting, actually, because I had this naive thing about college football. Like I always said, it's just football. And I always thought I was that dude. You know what I mean? But see, now you got it's 99 dudes on that team that the school recruited, so it's gonna be a little bit different. And I remember from day one when I walked in there and saw them seniors. You know what I mean? I came out of college. I was I'm like 5'11", going on 6 feet, 180. You know, the starting running back is 6'2", 224. You know what I mean? And I'm looking like, ooh,
nobody fat.
You know, none, like for real. And I'm just like, okay. And then when you running and doing drills, they quick. and just the linebackers are faster than you.
Yeah.
So I got humbled real quick for that point. I look on the schedule, Louisville's first game is against Penn State. That was ironic for me. But I knew I was going to get a chance to see him in person. That excited me. So I got humbled a bit to where it was like, and this game's going to be on TV. Now I'm like, people going to see you. So I'm like, okay, all I want to do my first year, I got humbled real quick. I'm like, okay, I got to get stronger, get faster, and get on the field. So I spent that whole time just training, running or whatever. Ended up running a 4.4. That was impressive to them coming out of high school. And then I remember we were doing drills, and I ran into the punter. I was on scout team, ran into the starting punter. The coach told me I was too stupid to play football and put me on the kickoff team. He said, get him as far away from anybody that matters. Put him on a kickoff team. So the very next play, I ran down and I knocked out a senior. I was a wedge buster and I knocked out a senior. That same coach ran, kissed my helmet, told me I'm going to be a true freshman and I'm playing special team. That moment right there put my whole confidence back up. And then so I started, now I'm working with, I know I'm a play. And I was a true freshman.
Same coach.
Same coach.
So
same coach, next play.
So wait a minute. So the coach just told you, get you out of here. You don't even deserve to be here. And
Too stupid to play football.
And the next play, kissing your hand.
I was mad. And that's that Cleveland. That's that dog. Y'all know I was upset. And I ran down, I knocked him out, bust a wedge up. And he came and put me on every special team. And what was cool, anybody from Louisville, 97 gonna know this, that when we came up, first game was against Kentucky, and they come up and they hand out T-shirts. There were 2 T-shirts. One said the Hitman and the Cleanup Man. And I got the Hitman T-shirt, and the other dude got the Cleanup Man T-shirt because we were the wedge busters. And he honored me in front of them, man. And honestly, that's what did it for me to let me know I'm in college, I've arrived, and on day one, I'm going to play at the University of Kentucky in an SEC game on national television. I got to do something. And I was on the special team. I was third on the depth chart for anything else. So I knew I might not see the field for game action, but I was like, I know I'm playing kickoff, kick return, punt return. And on the very first time we punted, I went and everybody, it was Keo Sanford. I knocked him out. I got a penalty. I went down early. I just knocked him out. and didn't get in trouble. But I went, you know how you a gunner run down and you try to, that's what I did. But I was so early. Knocked him right out. I was just hyped.
So the senior dude you knocked out in practice, I know he like, damn, this dude just made his name off of me, and I'm a senior.
Yep.
I'm down here on the ground, knocked out. I need smelling salt. I know he wanted to whoop your A.
He did. He did. Of course he did. Of course he did.
Damn.
And this is why, and since we real cool, I ain't got to say his name.
Right. Don't say his name. Don't say his name. He know who he is.
We did get into it.
Wow.
But he didn't get the good end of it. So everything worked out for me.
Wow.
And everything worked out for me. Now I will say this, because this is where you try to sit up and look like the tough guy. Well, this wasn't one of the bigger seniors.
Okay.
This was. I will say this: he was a DB, so he was just older.
Well, you know,
but
you know how them DBs be thinking though. The DBs be thinking like they a tight end size, like what? Right. You know, because they got quickness and speed, and they can, you know, kind of key in on you and hit you. DBs kind of cocky.
Well, he stepped in front of the wrong person that day. I was mad, and it all worked out. But at the end of the day, so I start true freshman. I'm starting. And so I'm out there, and it was just, man, it was incredible. Actually, no, we opened the season against Utah. Penn State was a third game. And the reason I know that is I wanted to play against Penn State. I was excited. But we opened the season against Utah. And on a kickoff return, we would play Kentucky, then Utah. And against Utah, I tore my MCL. right before the Penn State game.
Wow.
And but I watched that game, man, and it's still. But my point was, I made it. I was hyped. I was a true freshman. I was playing, and I knew I could compete. I had got humbled, and I said, when I get healthy, I'm gonna get bigger, faster, stronger. And then that's when my sophomore year on out is where things got my redshirt freshman year on out is where things got real. Because they switched my position from offense to defense, which I didn't like. But again, that dog in me said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ball out, and then I'm going to ask them to put me back. But I gotta earn some respect.
Mm-hmm.
So my redshirt freshman year, I got all conference as a linebacker. I was one of the smallest linebackers in the country.
Wow.
I had 55 tackles, 2 sacks, all conference freshman.
And hold that thought, because we do want to talk about that, because really that's what your documentary is about. It's showing that start to that, really laying out the course for the rest of your life. But I want to ask you this first.
Yeah.
I just remember when I got on Marquette campus, man. I remember the coach came up to me and he said, Will, man, it was an honor recruiting you. But now that you're here, it's your responsibility to stay here.
Mm.
When you got on that Louisville campus and you saw that, the scenery, the buildings, the dormitory, what was the mindset when you first got on that campus?
I was intimidated. I wasn't prepared for it. It was one thing to go on these visits. Because like you said, man, when I went to Syracuse, we watched the basketball game in the Carrier Dome. I'm thinking like, dang, I could be playing in here one day. And then they take you to the classes, and and then even when when I went there, I went to Akron on some visits and stuff, and it's just how they treat you.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Louisville, they got all these, like I said, fake things and exciting things, your posters on stuff and all of that. So then when I got there, and I'm just like, the focus is really on, you got, Chris Redman, Arnold Jackson, you got like the stars, the guys that, I'm nobody. And I didn't, and it's like a lot of these people, when they come to college, like they parents bring them there, man, they already got cars, and they can get around, and like I'm walking everywhere. I didn't know it's a large university. It's a lot of people. I hadn't made any friends except the freshmen that I came in with. I wasn't vibing with my roommate, man. The dude just wasn't my speed. And you start to see like, okay, what you gonna do? It's like, ain't nobody to get advice from. It's me, and I have no training for this. So my intimidation was how to navigate college life. Like, what do you do? Somebody always got to tell you everything. You at the mercy of somebody saying, you go here, you got to go here and do this and do that. And, hey man, can I get a ride? Or whatever. And so honestly, in the beginning for me, it was just intimidating. And so I kind of hung to the fact that I wrote my mama that letter. That, like, for me, that's the pressure that I had on myself, was like, you ain't got time to be like a baby about this. You wrote your mama that letter. You got to make good on it. You got 4 years to do it. And you can't waste a year. But I was intimidated. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I was always sprinkled in something that really got me excited. Like, I go in my room, I come down, and just all the other coming to freshman dorm. Thank the Lord, everybody's new, and they have like a mixer where music's on, and here come the girls and all these different things, and then food, and people are just, and you're on the football team, so you at least got that going for you, and that kind of helped me relax a little bit, because they're like, oh, the new freshman, oh, hey, hi, and you feel all that. But outside of that, it was intimidating. All these big buildings, and get here, get there, these big classrooms, and you're on your own. And so, if I'm honest about it, my freshman year, it was fun, but it was intimidating. But like I said, if you fail, you can't make good on that letter.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That is crazy.
What differences did you notice right away between high school and college?
Man, probably one of the biggest differences for me, obviously, was the class size in some of these places, and just how much on your own you are. It's like you ain't even there. Like, the professor's talking, is 200 people in there, and I'm just sitting there, and everybody in their own world. everybody's doing their stuff, man. You in there, because you ain't always in there with other freshmen. Like, it's just whatever your major is. And, you know, you just in there. And it's just intimidating, man. You taking notes and just whatever. And then, you know, you see some people just get up and leave whenever they feel like it. And it's like, you know, the professor may not even know you're there.
Yep.
And then some you don't understand. I saw somebody ask a question. I ain't got that courage, you know, because when you ask a question, everybody go,
yeah.
You know, and it's like, everybody, I'm like, forget it. I'll just be dumb today for just you know, that was intimidating for me because I'm used to being, I wasn't like a class clown, but I was kind of like, I was popular in high school, so I'm comfortable. I say whatever I want, you know, laughing. I'm the man or whatever. Man, you ain't you ain't nobody feeling your freshman year was kind of hard to swallow. Didn't know the city that much, but you know, the first thing I did, see, people know I'm an alpha. I pledged A5A my freshman year, and this is something that for real we need to that no sense of belonging, man.
Mm-hmm.
I had that going in college. I didn't grow up with, you know, my brothers wasn't around like I wanted them to be. I didn't have that like. And when you lost all your friends, I remember going to go eat, and I saw all the alphas standing there together in that black and gold. Just all of them was just there together, and they were talking or whatever. And that actually attracted me. Just the fact that there was just brothers like that. And I remember I went to the interest meeting, and long story short, I pledged, and the very next year, man, I became an alpha. That helped me settle in becoming an alpha. Because I instant credibility in everything I did, walking around in that t-shirt.
Wow.
So now you combine alpha with football. I quickly settled in. My second year, I'm alpha. I'm a redshirt freshman, true freshman football player. I settled in real quick. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Now, Agee and I, man, we ain't mad at you for pledging alpha, but wasn't no blue and white on that campus, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm just saying, you know.
I had a few Sigma friends, man. I had a few. We were all cool. That's the one thing, man. We was all pretty cool. But now, they can debate this if they want, but they know who ran the yard, though.
For real?
He threw a shot.
And I know it's different at different places. Because we go some places within Kentucky. It's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But we know who won all the step shows.
Oh, look
who had
still rubbing it in.
We were the step shows or whatever, man. But we was really cool. We had fun, man, especially with the community service and stuff. But man, for me, it was just that brotherhood. That made it when we crossed at a step show. So in front of the whole school. And then I'm a redshirt freshman playing.
Right.
Everything kind of came together, man. And then, you know, got me a little girlfriend that year, you know, and just kind of settling in. And so my first year was intimidating, but my redshirt freshman year, I got my feet underneath me and I kind of just took off from there.
That's next level stuff there, man.
Yeah.
I want to get into your man, we've had you so long too, but I want to get into your documentary because, first of all, man, it's so inspirational. It's inspiring. And in a lot of ways, it even kind of reminds me of Hoop Dreams. When I'm watching it, I'm like, the big bold prints come at you like, I say freshman year, sophomore year. I say, okay, TC got a little of that flair in there.
Bruh, y'all inspired me. It was literally, my family will tell you, I did that because of seeing Hoop Dream. That's where I got my inspiration from. Not only were the stories similar, but just I like the way you just told the story. It's just you tell the story in such a way where you can't deny nothing. We saw it. Like you can't, whatever you want to believe. You can't say anything about it, but you just gotta react. This is real life, and I wanted to do it just like that. So that inspired me.
Well, I tell you this, man. You had some scenes in there that I thought that every kid, whether you play sports or not. need to watch this film because it talk you you lay out perseverance before us. You lay out the struggle before us. But then, man, the thing that kept, and I kept saying this to myself, man, when I was that age, my mindset wasn't thinking to write my goals down like that.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from to write? Like, we would say it, but you literally wrote it down. Where did that come from?
Bro, the motivation for it came from fear. If I didn't succeed, I'm gonna become what I hate. Like everything that I tried, that I got away from. If I don't succeed, I'm going right back to it. I was afraid of ending up where I wake up every day and I have to do something that I don't want to do. I watched my mother do that most of her life. I watched like other friends, dads going off to work 3 a.m. to go unload the truck. And I felt like I'm just too talented, because there is no knock on hard work. Man, if I got to a point where that's what I had to do, and that's the best that I could do for myself, I'm doing it. And ain't nothing, it's just at that stage of the game when you're that young and you have all these gifts. I knew I could, I knew I could play football. I knew that I could just do things. I'm like, give me a chance to use some of these gifts before I have to go and just take the standard, whatever you can find, like open up the paper, find something, Amazon, whatever it is, and go do it. I'm not built for that right now. And so the fear of getting in that to me is a nightmare. That's all you can do. You don't get to spend time with your family or none of that. And that ain't gonna be enough to change my mother's life. So it was fear. And I'm just like, this thing gonna have to stare me in the face. And I still do that to this day. To this day, I do that, man. Man, it's a board right in front of me. That's the same way where my goals are written down. But I just like, it stared me in the face. So I would write them everywhere. And if you fail, bro, you gonna become what you hate. And I honestly dreaded that. That's what drove me.
What is it that you hate?
I hate not maximizing who I am and not getting a chance to be what I know I can be, but being what life says I have to be. Like, I don't want life being dictated to be like that. Like, I don't want life to say, you're gonna have to unload trucks the rest of your life. And the reason I keep picking that job is because when I was struggling to make it in NFL, trying to get there, and I was wasting my money on all these workouts, I ran out of money. And I had a daughter at the time. And the only job I could find was unloading these trucks, man. And it was, and y'all know the 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
And like the size of a banana box, like where you get your bananas, is about the size of about maybe a shoebox, maybe a little bigger than that. So think about the size of an oversized shoebox.
Yeah.
And think about that truck being packed from front to back, from bottom to top with them things.
Yeah.
And the job was to unload that thing yourself. You got the dude will bring out a pallet and drop it on what's the machine, the lift. He come and drop it, forklift. And then you lift up the thing, man, and as far as your eye can see. And so you just loading them, and he come get them, load them, he come get them, load. And I'm looking down the line, I'm seeing 40 other dudes just loading them, come get them. And that's it. You do that all day, and then you clock out, and they pay you $70. And I'm like, you could do this for the rest of your life. If you have to, what you gonna do? That's how you feed your family.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, it's different if you can't do nothing else. I'd be grateful for that job. But when you can do so many things, but you can't get the opportunity, and this is all you got, and you telling me I'm 20 years old, 22, 20, whatever, and I got to do this. Like, if the Lord let me live all the way out, I'm doing this till I retire.
Yeah.
I'm like, it scared me, man. It's like, I don't want that. Like, that's misery to me. Like, so that's what I'm like. I always thought, bro, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, that's where you headed. It's something like that. Like, and life gonna tell you what it wants you to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm too gifted for that. That's just what I used to tell myself.
That's what I always tell kids nowadays, man. And kids don't never stop and think about this because, they probably, they just living life. They just going through their teenage years and living life and thinking like, like they settle in on something and they just think like that's all that they can do. They don't even have the mind capacity to think outside of that. See, that was the difference between how me and Will grew up. Me and Will had that mind capacity to where we can think, I'm not just a basketball player. I could do acting. I could do anything I put my mind to. Like, I really believe that shit. Like, and Will did too. Like, whatever we want to do, it wasn't somebody telling us that if you tell me I can't do it, I'm not going to believe you. Like, I know I got something else in me that I can do that I just haven't even tapped into. God haven't put it in front of my face to say, yeah, I'll give you the gift and you can do this.
Yeah. And see, that's what you hit on something because like in the documentary, man, when you and Will was like, when y'all were little, when it first come on, he was like, you was talking about what you're going to buy your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about what you're going to buy your dad. And then later on, when Will was like, I give my mother $50 out of my check and everything. And, because I can never pay her back unless I make pro, then I can pay her back, and I'm sure I can pay her back. Like that right there, for me, it was like, even on the days that maybe even if I was to ever get over that fear, like, well, screw it, I'll just do the banana truck. Because sometimes when stuff get tough, now you punk out and you like, that whole fear, you like, let me go ahead and give into that. For me, my backup generator, so to speak, to that was my mama. Like, if you ever even thought that, okay, forget it, I'll take the job, this too hard. Okay, well, how you gonna make good on that letter? Like your mother right now is working at this factory squeezing bottles. She worked at a hair care company called Matrix in Ohio, where she on assembly line checking bottles, feet hurting all the time, wearing the hairnet, doing all this stuff. And I see that, and I'm like, man. So not only for you and your family, I know you try whatever. Also, if you quit, you can't take care of her.
Yep.
And that was it for me. When it came down to my mother, and that's why I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not the guy you want to line up against if you ain't got something in you that is like what's in me. Because it's going to be a problem when we meet.
Yeah.
And I ran like that. Like I ran like that. I did so, and that's why like in college I started getting the grades because I was like, I ended up getting on the academic, the AD honor roll. Now I'm a dude getting, honor roll next to my name was funny, but I'm getting A's and B's now because I'm like, well, the D's and F's and even the C's, they're now my enemy. Yeah. If I get ineligible, I can't take care of my mom. It kept coming back to that.
Yeah.
So sometimes the key is to, if you can't do it for yourself, man, find somebody else to do it for that really matter to you. That's that backup gas, man, whenever you give up on yourself. Because we ain't perfect. I would love to act like I ain't. It one days I want to quit.
Right.
But my mama, man. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't want to.
You don't want to lie. It's so funny when you say that. I think in your head, like you subliminally telling the guy across from you, like, you out here think it's a game, motherfucker. This life for me.
It's real.
It's life.
It's real.
You're gonna have to deal with this life coming at you in this football helmet and these pads on. You think it's a game, but I'm playing life out here.
Absolutely. Every time. See, I'm like, you come in and ain't nothing wrong with, you come in, you get your degree and do all this thing. I'm coming to save a life. Period. Wow. I'm coming to save a life and break a chain. And it's just hard to beat somebody like that. Yeah. That's why bruh, when you have, I was telling my son, I think I even said this in the documentary, I tell him, you gotta think about something outside of yourself, because we will at times let ourselves down. Even the most driven person, when you wake up, and I hear some of the best athletes in the world say, some days you just don't have it. But when you say, but who do I need it for right now for somebody else? Like, I don't got it for me, but who else in my life need me to have it for them then?
Yep.
And I will replace myself with my mama, and then it's like, it's a wrap. I'm going.
It's over with.
But I feel sorry for the person that's in the way of that.
I'm the gold of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffar, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.